one of the audience just asked, given the risk here, right, should we consider other sourcing strategies, right? And it just reminded me, there was an article in the Wall Street Journal 2 or 3 months ago about the Biosecure Act, and it mentioned, and I forget which big pharma company, but it said they and several other big pharma companies were developing parallel supply chains for Asia, right? So I think, what's probably happening is those with deep pockets and perhaps their own facilities or the ability to build facilities, right, can mitigate the risk, develop the parallel supply chains, right? And then if the Biosecure Act never happens or China remains open, they could leverage both, right? But it's a different challenge for small pharma. We don't have the money to build factories or, to do quick, do tech transfers to backups for everything. It's a whole different financial equation.
Yeah. And I'll throw a plug in for outsourcepharma.com. I would suggest to the audience to go on the homepage and read some of what we've written about how Big Pharma is so closely ensconced in China, and this just seems like it's going to hurt the small guys, so to speak. And on that topic, there's a question here. We're a private, a private or a public company, but we have no federal funding. So do we have to worry about the Biosecure Act? Kishore, you want to answer that?
Yeah, I will answer, Luis, because if the biotech company is using the funding from the NIH, the immediate concern, Biosecurity is not specifically talking about did you get the final drug substance from China or did you get the raw material from China? There is no material or meat into the consideration to actually read what kind of relationship we should keep with this Chinese manufacturing or the other companies. The biggest hurdle is, according to the Biosecure Act, any biotech with the federal funding should be under scrutiny if they use the Chinese facility. So the legal expertise is one of the important things. You need to check all your supply chain, financial, and the quality check boxes to be listed out what kind of scrutiny that can be done and make yourself ready as an immediate action, like within the 1 to 2 years if you are already using. There is no need to immediately stop the activity and move it on to the another thing. Then sequentially plan the alternate strategy with the another CDMOs, making sure all the check boxes were in place, what kind of material availability, what kind of scaling capacity, and how his product is going to be in the next 3 to 6 years. So the simple answer is, you can still work as the Biosecure Act finalized, but you need to build your alternate strategy and check with your legal team what kind of scrutiny that we should face when we do that.
Right. So the overall reaction to the Biosecure Act was to put a damper or a shadow on everybody. If you weren't included in the statute, if it didn't exactly speak to you for a few months there, I mean, we were all scared anyways. It's like, oh my God, I'm not taking grants or funds from the U.S. government, but I am working with certain CDMO that's named in this act, and so it kind of just put a shadow over everybody. So the answer is, technically, you're not affected, but it did affect everyone. And Reza, I wanted to ask you, because you speak to so many different big pharma and biotechs of all sizes in your consulting group. What are your clients saying, suggesting, or can you tell the attendees, what strategies or thoughts are being put into place by some of your clients?
Sure, that's a great point. And look, I just want to add one thing about Biosecure Act and the potential impact on pharmaceutical, and then I'll answer your question. I think the biggest impact, if that law passes, is around reimbursement. So if if U.S. government is now willing to reimburse based on the manufacturing side, that's really the largest impact that the pharma companies will face. In regards to our clients, as I mentioned, we have more than 80 clients globally, and that range from the largest of large pharma to companies that are basically one-person show. And we have divided them in really 3 buckets. We have individual companies that are really, based on the Biosecure Act, they've made a decision to leave manufacturing out of China, and we believe that's a mistake. We have second bucket of clients that they're on a wait and see basis. They haven't made any changes to their supply chain planning, and they're looking for the Biosecure Act to materialize and understand the details of it. And the last set of clients are just not paying attention. In our opinion, the second bucket is the right bucket. You don't want to have a knee-jerk reaction. You don't want to ignore the potential downstream impact of Biosecure Act, but you have to be mindful and have a risk mitigation strategy in place. And that's what we help most of our clients with.